Emmerdale's Graham Foster has endured more than most. Once presumed dead for 6 years, he's someone who understands what truly matters. He's attempted to guide his protégé, Joe Tate, on several occasions, but Joe has largely ignored his advice. At the start of 2026, Joe focused on taking control of Sugden Land and Butler's farm, using questionable tactics to get what he wanted. During this time, Graham warned him that too much power could eventually become toxic if handled the wrong way. Joe brushed this aside and continued his ruthless behavior, especially after Lydia Dingle was told he would have to leave his home. It became clear that the influence Joe had gained was starting to change him. Even after securing the land, Joe showed no signs of slowing down. Recently, Graham discovered Kim Tate's will in a safe and handed it over to Joe. Inside, Joe found out that Kim intends for Lydia Dingle to inherit Home Farm. This revelation enraged Joe, who believes the estate should belong to him by right. Rather than confronting Kim honestly, he chose a more manipulative route to get what he wants. Joe began by giving Lydia an unexpected pay rise and acting supportive, offering help whenever she needed it. Behind the scenes, however, he contacted someone to secretly set up a bank account in Lydia's name. In the latest episode, Graham checks Joe's computer and realizes the truth. Joe plans to frame Lydia by making it appear as though she's been stealing from Kim, hoping it will be enough to have her removed from the will. Both Graham and Dawn Taylor confront Joe over his actions, but their warnings fall on deaf ears. Joe doesn't seem ready to admit he's gone too far, meaning someone else may have to step in. That person could well be Lydia herself. On the same day she received the pay rise, she told Belle Dingle, Sam Dingle, and Kane that she's glad to still be working at Home Farm, as it allows her to keep an eye on Joe. The question now is whether Lydia will uncover Joe's scheme with the bank account, and if she does, will she expose him to Kim before it's too late? Emmerdale viewers are convinced they've figured out who started the barn fire. In the latest episode, Robert Sugden's barn was deliberately set ablaze, sparking a wave of fan theories online. Forget the usual whodunit. This time, it's all about who burned it. At the centre of it all is Moira Dingle, who has already endured a brutal ordeal. After being framed for trafficking and murder by Joe Tate, she spent time behind bars, while Lydia Dingle battled his own serious health issues and tried to stop Joe from taking over Butler's farm. Things finally began to improve when Robert uncovered key evidence that helped clear Moira's name. With help from Bear Wolf, he tracked down a number plate linked to trafficker Ray Walters, leading to a storage unit full of documents the police had missed. That discovery ultimately led to Moira's charges being dropped, allowing her to return home. But her return was far from peaceful. With Butler's farm now under Joe's control and tensions still high, Moira was already struggling, especially after discovering that her daughter's memorial tree had been destroyed. Then came another shock. As Moira reunited with Robert and faced Joe, Matty Barton suddenly noticed smoke coming from the barn. Moments later, they were faced with a full-blown fire. While Moira managed to act quickly, Joe wasted no time suggesting the blaze could be linked to someone targeting her over the accusations she had faced, raising fears that her family might continue to suffer. However, fans aren't buying that explanation. Many believe Joe himself is behind the fire. Online discussions have pointed out how suspicious his behavior seemed, especially the timing of his arrival just before the fire was discovered. Some viewers think it may have been a warning, possibly aimed at Robert, who has been showing signs of guilt and hesitation over his role in framing Moira. Others believe Joe could be trying to maintain control through fear, ensuring no one dares to challenge him or go to the authorities. The theory has quickly gained traction, with multiple fans convinced that Joe is responsible. Even Robert's uneasy reaction at the scene has added fuel to the speculation, as some viewers believe he may already suspect the truth. Whether the fire was a calculated move by Joe or the work of someone else entirely, one thing is certain: the drama surrounding Butler's farm is far from over. Emmerdale is set for a major turning point, as Dr. Todd is finally exposed by Jacob in an early ITVX episode. The show's latest villain, Dr. Todd, pushes things too far when she deliberately targets Jacob Sugden during a blood donation event at the Hyde. While working together, Todd begins making cruel and deeply personal remarks about Jacob's past, bringing up the death of his mother Layla and her struggles with addiction. She then goes even further by referencing the disturbing situation involving Maya Stepney, the former teacher who groomed and abused Jacob. Clearly shaken, Jacob finds the courage to confront Todd about her behavior. However, she is quick to twist the situation. In front of others at the Hyde, Todd loudly denies any wrongdoing, claiming she was only referring to Liam's divorce, and insists Jacob has misunderstood her completely. As Vanessa Woodfield steps in, Todd continues manipulating the situation, even playing the victim by mentioning her own personal loss to gain sympathy. Although Jacob initially feels guilty for accusing her, things take a turn when he later speaks with Manpreet Sharma. Without realizing the full situation, Manpreet confirms that she had already told Todd everything about Maya over a week earlier. This revelation gives Jacob solid proof that Todd deliberately targeted him and has been playing psychological games. Spoilers for upcoming episodes reveal that Jacob soon confronts Todd again at Vanessa's home. When the discussion fails to resolve anything, he decides to take serious action by reporting her to the hospital's HR department. With the truth now coming out, the question is whether this will finally bring Todd down, or if she'll find another way to manipulate her way out of trouble. Emmerdale delivers heartbreak for April Windsor as Dylan makes a devastating choice about their future. April and Dylan Penders have been through more than most couples, forming a strong bond after everything they've survived together. From escaping the dangerous grip of Ray Walters to avoiding the threats posed by Celia Daniels, their relationship has endured extreme challenges. Despite facing life-threatening situations, including Ray trying to run Dylan down and Celia targeting April, their connection only grew stronger. Now, however, a new obstacle threatens to tear them apart. With the trial approaching, uncertainty hangs over everything. Beowulf, Paddy Kirk, and Dylan are all facing serious charges, leaving their futures unclear. Determined to stand by him, April decides she will wait for Dylan no matter what happens. She believes he has saved her countless times and is willing to sacrifice everything for their love. But Dylan refuses to accept that. Seeing things differently, he believes April deserves a better future and doesn't want her to put her life on hold for him. In a painful and selfless move, Dylan decides the only way to protect her is to let her go. He plans to end their relationship before the trial, hoping it will set her free. However, his plan doesn't stay secret for long. Lydia Dingle finds out and quickly tells April what Dylan intends to do. April has never been someone who backs down easily, and she won't accept being pushed aside without a fight. Now that she knows Dylan is planning to walk away, the big question is, will she let him go or fight to hold on to the love they've built? Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is available to stream on ITVX.